in just a minute.
A model dad with a huge heart.
I absolutely love being a dad. You just get to do fun stuff.
He's active and also very attractive. Look at that face, it's really good looking. He does a lot of modelling.
Really?
Just wait till they see their dream family home.
Oh!
A transformation so incredible, it won't just change their house, it'll change their lives.
Oh, I'm crying because Mummy's so happy.
New house rules, high stakes. This April on 7.
Just ahead, the Prime Minister makes a bold new move in the battle against COVID-19, plus flights and holidays cancelled. But what are your refund rights? We're live very soon.
This program is brought to you by Big W, where there's something for every bunny this Easter.
Welcome to the Daily Edition. We're standing by to hear from the Queensland Premier momentarily.
But first, let's bring you the latest from the 7 Newsroom. There are now more than 1,000 people with coronavirus in New South Wales. Premier Gladys Berejiklian is pleading with people to avoid gathering in large groups, saying we should avoid socialising even in our own homes.
We're not recommending anybody have indoor entertaining of any number. We recommend that immediate family members or close loved ones or people you associate with regularly are allowed into your home, and we don't recommend anything beyond that because the risk of spread is too high.
The state has also recorded its first cases in people aged under 10, a 2-month-old baby and a 7-year-old girl who both had contact with confirmed adult cases. Let's now go live to Tim Lester, who's in Canberra for us this afternoon after the Prime Minister Scott Morrison has announced the creation of a special commission to solve problems amid the coronavirus crisis. Hello, Tim. Thank you for joining us. You are literally joining us live, as we can see there. Thank you for being so prompt for us. So what can you tell us on the Prime Minister's message?
The Prime Minister has spoken about a couple of things in particular, Ryan. He's established a COVID-19 commission that will be headed by Neville Power, the former CEO, 7 years CEO at Fortescue. This new commission will particularly examine the issues of Australians thrown out of work by the current crisis and other areas of the economy that need people in terms of employment, and try to marry those two forces together. There are a couple of other things that have been discussed here today, in particular testing rates. The Prime Minister says testing rates now in Australia are better than South Korea, the so-called benchmark case, and 25 times the US testing rate. We've now done more than 160,000 COVID-19 tests as well. The Deputy Medical Officer indicating earlier that as yet Australian cases, although worrying in the climb overnight, are still not giving a great deal of trouble to our intensive care units, Ryan.
And with so many people out of work at the moment, the Prime Minister also spoke about repurposing the workforce. Let's take a listen.
Whether it's repurposing manufacturing lines, whether it's retasking workforces, that one day were taking calls for travel companies, now taking calls at Centrelink, and ensuring that we're repurposing the workforce effort.
And Tim, this is obviously a major concern at the moment. We've seen Centrelink at those streams of people lining up outside those centres. People are feeling the pinch at the moment, aren't they?
Incredibly so. This is a shock. The shock just around what's happening in health terms around us, dramatic for many. Then to lose their jobs so suddenly with so little security for the future, and to be thrown into the kind of confusion that government departments are trying to pick their way through. In particular, of course, has been expressed publicly by these lines outside Centrelink and the public frustration that they bring. The opposition leader has spoken on this today. The many thousands of jobs lost just overnight that our economy now has to deal with. There is a real shift here that the economy is dealing with, and the government trying to get on top of, particularly with this new commission, right?
Tim Lester there in Canberra. Thank you very much for that live update this afternoon. Now to the coronavirus crisis abroad, and President Donald Trump says he would love to have the United States open by Easter. His comments have come on a day when the number of cases in the US soared past 45,000. Ashley Mullaney is in Los Angeles.
Donald Trump has doubled down on his commitment to wind back restrictions here in the United States, saying he wants the country and the economy reopened by Easter. His timeline came the same day the World Health Organization predicted the United States could now become the epicentre of the coronavirus. Still, the president plans to forge ahead and to loosen the stay-at-home guidelines that medical experts say are the best weapon to slow the spread.
I'm sure that we have doctors that would say, let's keep it closed for 2 years, okay? Let's close it up for 2 years. No, we got to get it open. Our people want it open, and that's the way this country was built.
That message starkly different than the one coming from New York's governor, who says coronavirus cases are spiking higher and faster than expected, doubling every 3 days.
We're not going to accept a premise that human life is disposable. And we're not going to put a dollar figure on human life.
While other nations move to implement even tougher restrictions, Donald Trump says hotspots here can be closely monitored, and those less affected areas is where people can go back to work while still maintaining social distancing and good hygiene.
Ashley Mullaney reporting there. UK residents have lived through their first day of a 3-week lockdown as the death toll from coronavirus rises. Overnight, Italy recorded 743 deaths, bringing their total to almost 7,000, while Spain's numbers continue to surge. Hugh Whitfield filed this report from London.
An eerie first day of the lockdown across Britain. Near deserted streets, the few people that were out and about are allowed out to go shopping for food and medical supplies. People can go for one form of exercise per day, and those who really do need to go to work in essential jobs can travel. But that's pretty much it, and come the end of the week, anyone flouting those social distancing rules will face a $60 fine. Police will also have the power to break up crowds of more than 2 people on the street. The military has been drafted in to help deliver medical supplies to hospitals here, and the government has requisitioned a conference centre in the East End of London. It was actually used for the boxing during the Olympic Games in 2012. Now it'll become a 4,000-bed hospital, possibly a sign of things to come here in Britain. In Spain, they're using tractors to disinfect the streets. The death toll there has risen in the last 24 hours again by 500, and the trend, unfortunately, is once again bad in Italy. In the last 24 hours, another 743 people have succumbed to coronavirus. In Russia, the President Vladimir Putin has donned a hazmat suit, possibly a sign Moscow is taking things more seriously there. The mayor of Moscow has said, quote, a serious situation is unfolding. And in Sweden, environmental activist Greta Thunberg is self-isolating with her father. She says she has all the symptoms of coronavirus, but under the Swedish regulations, she won't be tested unless she requires urgent medical care.
OK, thanks. Hugh Whitfield reporting there.
And we are waiting to hear from Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, so we'll bring that to you as soon as it happens. In addition, we'll keep you updated and informed across the hour with all the very latest coronavirus updates as they happen. Next for you, the Aussie infectious disease expert who's advising the World Health Organization what he says we're doing right and what we could learn from other countries like Singapore. We're back after this.
Hi, it's Georgie Parker here.
Hello, Joanna Griggs here from Better Homes.
Hello there, Mark Ferguson from 7 News.
We are in a really unusual time with this coronavirus.
I don't know about you, but I've been watching copious amounts of news.
It's going to take some time.
Stay safe, stay well.
And we'll pull together and get out of this.
Because if you look after yourself, you look after others.
Stay strong and we'll get through this damn thing.
We're all in this together. We're all a little bit frightened.
We really are all in this together.
Keep a smile on our face.
We are in this together and we're going to get through it.
At Apia, we're all about possibilities and making sure you're ready for them, including the ones you never see coming. That's why for a limited time, get Apia Home Assist free for a year with any new eligible home insurance policy before March 31. It gives you 3 call-outs in the first year in the event of a home emergency. That's 24/7 access to either a plumber, electrician, locksmith or carpenter. Apia. Get set, go. Call 13 50 50 today.
Fibre helps feed the good bacteria in your gut. That's why with Kellogg's range of fibre cereals, millions of Aussies are helping the good bacteria in their gut to thrive. Is your gut fibre fit?
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Now, Maybelline's first foundation with hyaluronic acid and collagen. New Dream Radiant from Maybelline, New York. Radiant coverage plus 12-hour hydration. Skin looks plumped and visibly improved. New Dream Radiant only from Maybelline, New York.
Have a peek at this. Powerball has jackpotted to $80 million. Better get a ticket.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
Advocate protects against more parasites than any other treatment. So your pet is free to dream. Advocate, so everyone can rest easy.
This is our lab, where we've ethically sourced certified organic lavender for the new anti-age cream by Garnier Organics. Distilled to release its essential oil in a vegan formula to visibly reduce wrinkles. New Garnier Organics by Garnier Naturally.
Want an alternative to a cosmetic laser procedure? Try L'Oreal Paris Revitalift Laser Day and Night Cream from Chemist Warehouse. The powerful anti-aging formula with hyaluronic acid and proxylane works to re-densify skin and reduce the appearance of wrinkles in just 4 weeks. L'Oreal Paris Revitalift Laser Day and Night Creams are $22.47 each. Choose L'Oreal, the #1 skincare brand at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
The drought in Queensland and New South Wales right now is one of the worst in our history.
When the Trebins farm hadn't seen much rain in years, Alicia helped arrange finance for vital equipment. And they all saw water for the first time in a long time.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
That's the Suncorp spirit.
In breaking news, Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk is holding a media conference regarding the coronavirus crisis. So let's go live to this now.
Okay, thank you. I just want to give a brief update on some issues that have that we've been looking at over the last 24 hours. So first of all, I know that the Minister for Health talked about a function that was held up at Sales at Noosa. We now know that there has been a cluster of 17 people that have tested positive from this one event. That event, my understanding is, was on the 14th of March. That 17 also includes 4 staff members. Now, what is very important is I hope people can understand from events such as this, where people are congregating quite closely together and interacting, that this is how coronavirus can spread. We've seen that, of course, in other cases such as cruise ships and, of course, other events that have happened in other parts of our state. But it's a very clear signal to everyone that this is now not the time to socialise, it is the time to keep your distance. The Prime Minister talked this morning about 162,000 tests that have been done across the nation. Here in Queensland, we have done 39,282 tests. This puts us at one of the highest testing states in the nation. We also now are moving on to, I talked yesterday about how we are running government differently. And today I mentioned in the Parliament that I was going to appoint Minister Cameron Dick to focus on supplies, the supply chains across our state, ensuring that our food is going to get to where it needs to get to, focusing as well on manufacturing. What else do we need to manufacture here in Queensland? how can we utilise 3D printers, how can we utilise companies out there that are doing good things and can manufacture more. So this is really, really important that we are doing everything we possibly can to help those supply chains. I'll be talking further tomorrow with Minister Kate Jones about jobs that I've given her to do. So we know that social distancing is really important and people need to be doing the right thing. We also are making an announcement today that our camping grounds in Queensland will close from tomorrow. This is really important. We need the message to get out. There are no school holidays. We will be having a school break. That includes camping grounds at Kagari, Fraser Island, Inskip Point, Lula Coast, Moreton Bay Islands, all other national parks and forests across the state where camping is permitted. There are 470 camping areas. They will be out of bounds from tomorrow. And I thank Minister Leanne Enoch for providing me with that advice.
That was Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk there delivering a message to the media conference saying that there was a function centre called Sales on Noosa where 17 people have been confirmed as infected on the 14th of March. They've also spoken about how they're going to employ the supply chain and improve that up there in Queensland and also manufacturing as well.
They can manufacture up in Queensland. Definitely.
Yes, so we will of course bring you any breaking details as they come to hand throughout the program. But let's now get some professional insight into coronavirus. Infectious disease expert Professor Dale Fisher is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic on the front line. As senior consultant at Singapore's National University Hospital, the Tasmanian-born professor is a key figure in advising the World Health Organisation.
Singapore has been held up as a model country. They've been winning praise for controlling the spread, thus resulting in much lower infection rates compared to the rest of the world. So what can we learn from their example? And live via Skype, Professor Dale Fisher joins us from Singapore. Professor, thank you for taking the time. We know how busy you are. We know you're working right around the clock. I want to ask you what measures Singapore has been adopting since news of the virus broke back in December.
Thanks. You talk about back in December, that's exactly right. The first time the world heard about it outside of China was December 31st. And we were having meetings on January the 1st about starting to look out for people from Wuhan. And within weeks, we were really ramping up. We had testing available before our first kit, and January and through February was really a ramping up exercise because we had a lot of respect for what was happening in China, and any disease that can make a country of 1.4 billion people close down told us that there was a serious thing coming.
Your approach to this crisis has been applauded by many key figures in this fight right around the world. How successful have these measures been in combating the spread of the disease? And can you perhaps detail some of those which have worked better in comparison to some other parts of the world?
Yeah, we're certainly not celebrating in the past tense. You know, we've won, we've had success, but we would say so far so good. We've concentrated heavily on the virus rather than population measures. Of course, the population measures are important, but they're really the second level of defence. The first level of defence is identifying the cases. So, you know, very liberal testing, which we've had pretty much from the outset once it was ramped up in late January. And we're quite strict with the cases. They're all isolated. They're taken out of community. And until recently, were kept in hospital, but now we've moved to hotels and a private hospital and a community hospital, which is where we're going to keep the positive cases until they're cleared with 2 negative throat swabs. Quarantining of contacts, very thorough contact tracing, and any close contacts are put in quarantine, and breaching quarantine is a criminal offence. So that's not to say we want to punish people criminally, but it's to say this is very serious and you're strongly recommended not to breach. So it's really that focus on the virus. That's where the money is. That's the cases. That's the close contacts. And if we can do that with the solid sort of contact tracing around every case, we've managed so far to shut down every transmission chain, and therefore allow life to continue fairly much normal, adapted but normal.
Dale, one of the big things that the PM, Scott Morrison, has said is that he's looking to Singapore and he's considering the Trace Together phone app that you implemented. Can you tell us how that works?
So there's a couple. When I came back from the WHO mission to China, I was put in quarantine. And the first morning I received an SMS where I had to click on a link, and that was to confirm that I was at the address where I was. And then I got an immediate response saying, thank you for your cooperation. And that happens every 2 or 3 days at random times. And it's also associated with potentially people knocking on your door to make sure you are with your phone. So yeah, the quarantine's taken really seriously. And as I say, I'm not sure if it'd be acceptable in many countries, but you know, I think there need to be harsh penalties, because you can see the effect this has on society if it's not taken seriously.
As a professional, I'm sure you'd be reluctant to comment on how other people are doing things, but as an Australian, I'm sure you have many loved ones that are here in this country in lockdown at the moment that I guess communicating with you the measures that we are going through. In your opinion, with that in mind, what should Australia be doing now? Should we be doing something differently?
So you're quite right with your first sentence. I'm not certainly going to sit here in a place where there's different challenges to what's being faced in Australia and other countries. I'm not going to point and say you should do this, because I don't even know that's right. But I do know the most important thing is to stop the people with the virus spreading it. It's a pretty simple principle, and that's the isolation and the contact tracing. If I know Australia's not isolating their positive cases, I know the countries that have had success, and that's China, Korea. Korea didn't even do a shutdown when it was having 900 cases a day, but it did isolate all its positive cases. Hong Kong, Taiwan, we all isolate our positive cases. If Australia can be sure that those people aren't spreading it, then it's the same effect. But you have to be really sure that those people aren't going out, they're not having visitors, their families not being exposed to the same contaminated household and taking it out. That to me is the biggest difference. But I'm not going to say I have no right to say anyone should do it differently. It's really about the principle.
Dale, the thing I think that we're all holding out for is for this to be over. What does the end look like? What will happen? Where will we get to? When will we get there?
So there are two ways we could be lucky. One is the virus attenuates and becomes less severe or less transmissible. That is perhaps an act of God that would allow that to happen, and shouldn't be something we hold out for. The other way is if we get lucky, if we find there's a whole lot of asymptomatic transmission, and our antibody studies in the future will tell us that. But if we find that 10,000 cases means 100,000 exposed, that would be a blessing. But again, I'm not sure we're going to be lucky like that. Herd immunity, natural herd immunity, is just not an option. 25 million people in Australia. To get herd immunity, you'd need 15 million infections. So you can do the maths and realise that that's not acceptable. So my answer is it's going to be a vaccine or a treatment. And I would think it's going to be a vaccine in a year or two. And like you, Sarah, I really want it over too.
Yeah, we all do, don't we?
Well, Professor Dale Fisher, as we mentioned, this fight is far from over, but your work certainly is to be admired, and your opinions here today certainly valued. So we thank you very much for joining us on the Daily Edition.
Thanks, Sally and Ryan.
Thank you.
Now, there have been a lot of changes to our way of life, and very quickly, soon we're going to break down all the latest measures and explain exactly what they mean for you.
I can't wait to get going, Brodie.
You've got good news for us then, Grace?
And you won't have to wait long to find out. It's time for What's On in the Warehouse.
What's on in the warehouse? When you've got a little one, the cost of nappies can really put a dent in your family budget.
Which is why it's more cost effective to buy your nappies in bulk. And right now at Chemist Warehouse, there's great savings on the Huggies Jumbo range. The Huggies Jumbo range starts from just $29.99.
You know how terrible it is when you or a member of your family feels dehydrated.
That's when it's time to turn to Hydrolite. Hydrolite has been scientifically formulated to help replace lost water and electrolytes and comes in sachets format and even icy poles.
Exclusive to Chemist Warehouse, Hydrolite Effervescent 60s are just $26.99.
The ways you can catch a common cold seem endless, but did you know that ancient healers have been using garlic for thousands of years to help support people's health?
That's very true. Garlic has been known for years to have many health benefits. So is there a garlic supplement to help us maintain our general health and well-being, Grace?
There sure is. Help support your immune system function with Wagner High Strength Garlic 10,000 capsules.
Now, garlic has been traditionally used in Western herbal medicine to assist with common colds, right?
That's right. Traditionally used in Western herbal medicine, Wagner High Strength Garlic 10,000 may even assist with recovery time from the symptoms of mild upper respiratory infections.
So you can help support your body's proper immune system function with Wagner's High Strength Garlic 10,000 capsules then.
That's right. Another incredible benefit is that when used in traditional Western herbal medicine, garlic may even help to maintain cardiovascular health in healthy adults.
And with 10 grams of garlic per serve and no artificial colours or flavours, you know you're only getting quality ingredients.
Help maintain your general health and well-being with Wagner High Strength Garlic 10,000 capsules. They're now just $14.99 each. Do you know the best way to help prevent getting sick with the flu?
Getting in early to get your flu immunisation?
Exactly, because influenza is a virus that spreads easily and has a really nasty range of symptoms.
That's so true. The flu virus tends to be more severe and longer lasting than just your average cold.
And that's why the virus puts you out of commission for longer than the common cold.
And nobody wants to be sick, let alone for a few weeks.
So it's worth getting in earlier, as it can take several weeks for the immunisation to take full effect.
Becoming a flu fighter is easy. Just book online at chemistwarehouse.com.au/flu.
The quadrivalent vaccine protects you against 4 strains of influenza and is now $14.99 at Chemist Warehouse. Now, to find your nearest store,
which might be in the middle of your street,
go to chemistwarehouse.com.au.
Or you can find us on the Chemist Warehouse app.
We're open 7 days till late.
Bye. What's on in the warehouse?
From flights to concert tickets, what are your refund rights during the coronavirus lockdown? Our consumer expert has the advice that you need to know.
But straight ahead, we're unpacking all those new restrictions announced by the Prime Minister over the past 24 hours. That is next on the Daily Edition.
Coronavirus.
With confirmed cases from that one ship, 133.
7 News is the one place keeping you totally informed.
System overwhelmed, unable to cope.
Turn to 7 News at 6 and get the full analysis with the latest at 7.
Did you hear about Mikey? Had a bad accident.
Oh, no, it's no good. Isn't his wife expecting?
Yeah. But it looks like his insurance with Cbus has him covered.
Cbus offers super insurance options for our industry.
See? Nailed it.
I never stepped out underneath the stars. I lied about being the outdoor type. I never rode a sleeping bag, let alone a mountain bike. I lied.
Hyundai Tucson. Made for it, even if you're not.
They've all got that RSPCA pet insurance feeling, knowing that up to 80% of their eligible vet bills will be reimbursed, that they can claim up to $20,000 a year with no excess. And while they're doing the right thing for their pet, they feel great knowing their premiums are helping support the RSPCA. Call 136 137 or search RSPCA Pet Insurance and experience that RSPCA Pet Insurance feeling now.
Thank you. Hey, did you ever get your life insurance sorted? Not yet. Well, we did one simple thing to protect our family's financial future and got real life insurance. Okay, send me their details and I'll give them a call.
Protecting your family is easy with our value for money products that you can tailor to suit your budget. With real life insurance, your family would receive up to $1 million if you passed away. Call 137 026 or search Real Life Insurance.
Easy on yourself.
Nivea Q10 Power, Australia's #1 anti-age day cream, contains natural Q10 identical to the one made by your skin to visibly reduce wrinkles. Nivea Q10 Power, 100% skin identical, 100% you.
When we say no to walls, it doesn't matter how you arrived. The doors of the world are kicked wide open so we can all thrive side by side. Join the bigger picture with HSBC's low-rate home loan.
Bread is a part of life, so why not make life poppier, crustier, pumpkinier, down to the very last crumb. Abbott's Village Bakery, every bit better.
Dad, what's up with your arm?
This. It's my epic reminder so I don't forget about Aldi's special buys.
Is that your elbow?
Don't touch it.
Tie yourself an epic reminder for this Saturday and get a portable fridge freezer for $599, sleeping bag onesies for $49.99 each, and a 4-person instant up tent for $129. Only at Aldi. Good difference.
Free TV programming and advertising is guided by the Commercial Television Industry Code of Practice. A copy of the code can be found on the Free TV website, or you can write or call us for more information. Free TV, Australian, trusted, free.
Separating out what's fact, what's fake coronavirus news, how to identify the hoaxes on Sunrise tomorrow.
Earlier today, Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced that he's forming a COVID-19 coordination commission. Now, that's designed to assist in handling the economic fallout from the crisis.
The announcement comes as the PM admits we are facing a financial crisis as much as a health crisis. So for more, we're joined now by commentator Angela Mollard. Hi, Ange. Now, firstly, let's listen to the Prime Minister's announcement.
The commission's job, put simply, is to solve problems. Problems that require the private sector working together with the private sector. CEOs to talk to CEOs and to be engaged with by CEOs to ensure that the private-to-private effort is there solving problems in the national interest and it's being mobilised.
Let's unpack this, Ange. So how is the Commission going to help?
Look, I think that, as Scott Morrison says, we're not just dealing with a health problem, we're dealing with a financial one as well. So he's pulled together some top brains from business. They're going to work together. They're going to mostly anticipate problems. As we saw, the announcement regarding benefits meant that the Centrelink lines were extraordinary. What we need to do is to have an organisation that's going to see off those problems before they come. So yes, better communication between private and public, as he said, but also looking at supply and demand and those supply chains so that goods and services are still coming where they're needed.
And last night the Prime Minister announced more non-essential services that will need to shut. What's on the list?
So first and foremost, shopping centres remain open, but the food courts within those shopping centres will now only be operating as a takeaway function as per other cafes and restaurants. International travel cancelled home auctions, open homes. We've talked about markets are now for each state and territory to decide how they work. Beauty salons, tattooists, arcades, play centres, museums, swimming pools, libraries, these are now no longer available.
And Ange, probably the most emotional restrictions, weddings and funerals.
Heartbreaking, this, Ryan. So weddings, if you are getting married from now on, you can only have 5 people at your wedding. The couple themselves, the celebrant and 2 witnesses. So no parties, no celebrations, just a very basic, straightforward wedding. Funerals, it's a maximum of 10 people. So should you die over the coming weeks, the total number of loved ones you can actually have attending is 10. Of course, many people are looking at video conferencing funerals, but what a sad sad way to go, particularly for people who, you know, brothers and sisters who have walked through life with each other won't be able to be there to say goodbye to their loved ones.
Yeah, and imagine as well, there are a lot of people that maybe live interstate from their loved ones as well, and with their borders closing as well, it's just another element to it.
And we heard earlier today that one of the other things is that elective surgeries will cease. That's from midnight tonight. These announcements, they're ongoing.
They are. I mean, every couple of hours, Sally, we're getting something new being announced, and the Prime Minister, of course, is meeting tonight, but we won't know about that until tomorrow. But yes, in those sorts of terms, it's making a huge difference to the way that we live and what's happening inside our homes.
Yeah, well, that's obviously one of the parts that the Prime Minister addressed last night. Let's take a listen.
We want Australians to exercise their common sense. So that means barbecues of lots of friends or even family, extended family, coming together to celebrate one-year-old birthday parties and all these sorts of things. We can't do those things now. These will be significant sacrifices, I know. We've all been to those events as extended families and gatherings. And gathering together in that way, even around the large family table in the family home, when all the siblings get together and bring the kids, these are not things we can do now.
Yeah, so to be clear on this one, it's not that you can't fire up the barbecue or have a family dinner, it's still practising that social distancing inside your home, right?
That's right. Well, inside your home, but also the number of people coming to your home. So while there's not a confirmed stipulation on how many you can have, like the funerals and weddings situation, they're asking people to not have groups of people coming to their home. So if you have a barbecue, it's got to be your immediate family. You can't invite the whole family around. As for that elective surgery question, there will be no elective surgery unless it's the level 1 emergency surgery. Of course, that gear, the PPE gear and the face masks and all the equipment needed in hospitals needs to go now to fighting this virus.
That's yes, right. And level 2 is in consultation with your doctor.
Correct.
Level 3 is pretty much is what is off the cards.
Yeah, so if you want a tummy tuck at the moment, it's not happening.
No.
Why did you look at Ryan?
Yeah, exactly.
And the Prime Minister confirmed today that the National Cabinet is going to continue to meet tonight. There's, of course, going to be more federal announcements expected tomorrow. What else is next on the agenda?
Look, what I'm hearing out there, and I'm sure you guys are the same, is that people need some rental assistance or mortgage assistance. I mean, people are worrying, they're losing their jobs. Their main cost, of course, is how they pay for their accommodation, whether that's mortgage or rent. There's an expectation that that's going to be the next thing that's going to be addressed and how we're going to get some alleviation from those responsibilities.
All right, Ange, thanks for the breakdown. All right, we'll have more of the Daily Edition to come, including how the coronavirus lockdown affects your rights as a consumer.
As a nation, Australians spend $27 million on credit card purchases every month. 30% of people over the age of 35 have more than 2 credit cards. And we decided we'd see how well people are managing that debt. So do you have any loans or any credit cards?
I've got 2 credit cards, but no loans. Yeah, I have 1 credit card.
Yes, I've got 7.
2 credit cards.
2 credit cards. Around 3 or 4. What do you use your credit cards for?
Absolutely everything. You name it, if I can spend on my credit card, I will.
For everything, pretty much.
All my living expenses, essentially.
Do you know what the interest rate is on your credit cards?
It's over 21%.
It's about 21, 22.
I don't know what the interest rate is.
Do you think you'll pay off your credit cards before the interest-free period ends? I don't. Really, to be honest?
Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. I try to manage it in my pay cycles, but it doesn't always work.
Well, as you can see, there are so many Australians out there struggling with the burden of credit cards and also paying high interest. Good news is Nikki's here to tell us about Society One. Great to see you, Nikki.
Great to see you too, Kaz. And yes, there are many Australians out there who are juggling multiple debts, and it can be hard to manage multiple repayments, know which one to pay off first, or it could just seem easier to pay the minimum balance. And many don't know how much interest they're paying in the long run, which potentially could be thousands. Now that's where Society One can help.
So tell us a little bit about Society One.
Society One is an award-winning marketplace lender offering unsecured fixed-rate personal loans at great low rates, and thousands of Australians are actually getting on top of their finances by moving debt into one easy-to-manage payment with a Society One personal loan.
Gee, that's great, isn't it? And there's a lot of people out there now seeking personal loans for so many different reasons.
Society One has borrowers looking for loans to renovate their home, to pay for a holiday, perhaps to pay for a wedding, buy a car, maybe maybe there's an unexpected expense that they want to cover off. Now, as well as being 100% online, which is super convenient, they look at each person's individual credit history and offer a personalised rate, which is often much lower than they'd likely get from a big bank.
Isn't that fantastic? But how much can you borrow?
You can borrow between $5,000 and $50,000 with flexible loan terms of 2, 3 or 5 years. And there are no monthly fees or early repayment fees, just a one-off establishment fee included in the total loan amount.
Isn't that great? Tell us a little bit about the application process.
So easy, 100% online, so you can even apply straight from your smartphone. Just head to society1.com.au to get your personalised interest rate and repayment quote. It takes as little as 1 minute to get your quote, and the best part is that the quote won't affect your credit score, so you can safely find out what rate you're likely to get. If you like what you see, then you can apply then and there, and if approved, you could have money in your account in as little as 1 business day, Karen.
Isn't that fantastic? So it is just as easy as heading online. Everything is there for you. Nikki, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All you need to do is head to society1.com.au.
Supermarket giant Woolworths has announced that it will reduce trading hours at 41 locations from tomorrow and use those stores as priority delivery hubs. The selected stores will only open to the public from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and use the other hours to support home deliveries for vulnerable customers.
The program will focus on priority assistance customers, including the elderly, people with disabilities and those with compromised immunity and people in mandatory isolation. The company is also introducing dedicated greeters to help wipe down trolleys and baskets at store entries. They'll also be bringing in new social distancing measures, including closing some self-service and express checkout.
Yeah, I had noticed they had revised Wednesday hours to closing at 8 o'clock, but they've obviously had to do another revision just with the demand that is happening at the moment. They're under a lot of strain.
As yet. Now ahead for you, life under lockdown. Flights, concerts and sporting events all cancelled. Gym memberships, they're on hold. And wedding bookings are out the window. So what are your rights when asking for a refund?
Our consumer champion has all the answers when we return on the Daily Edition after this.
A model dad with a huge heart.
He's active and also very attractive. He does a lot of modelling.
Really? Just wait till they see their dream family home. Oh, a transformation that will change their lives.
Oh, I'm crying because Mummy's so happy.
Welcome to High Stakes, this April on 7.
Come on, darling, up you hop. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
So you are going to do the reno?
Yep, finally.
Oh, opening up that space would be great.
Yep, now just got to get started. Got to get cracking.
When you're ready to make it happen, so are we. NAB, more than money.
Have you discovered Naturopathica's vegan vitamins? 100% certified by Vegan Australia. Naturopathica's vegan range is expertly formulated, so they're kind to your health. Free from any animal products, so they're kinder to our friends. And by using recyclable packaging, they're kinder to our planet. For your health and your family's well-being, Naturopathica vegan vitamins are a cleaner, greener choice. Live clean, live green.
With AGL, get up to $150 in credits. That's $75 for gas and $75 for electricity, just for signing up your home energy with AGL online. Only available at agl.com.au.
Oh, baby, baby, feed me. Baby, feed me. Oh, feed me.
Dime, powerless to resist.
The Rebel sale is on. Score up to 40% off a huge range of men's, women's and kids' clothing. Plus save a massive $50 on these ASICS runners. More deals in-store and online. Shop the Rebel range 24/7 at rebelsport.com.
Have a peek at this. Powerball has jackpotted to $80 million. Better get a ticket.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
Last week, Australia shut its borders to international tourists in the continuing efforts to stop the spread of coronavirus. But now new restrictions are putting a hold on domestic travel as well.
But with so many holidays now being cancelled, what are our rights as a consumer and will we be left out of pocket?
Well, for more, we're joined by consumer expert Joe Uchucalo, who joins us from Sydney. Good afternoon, Joe. Good to speak to you. Now, let's start with domestic travel. What are our rights for getting a refund here?
So airlines have been really high profile these last few weeks, saying that they're going to offer customers refunds if they're unable to travel and offer really flexible, being really flexible with any changes. And I guess that came about because about 2 years ago, the ACCC really put pressure on airlines to offer refunds if it wasn't reasonable that they'd be able to provide a service within a reasonable period of time. So obviously with all the cancellations, the Australian airlines are really quick to offer refunds to customers.
So they are offering a travel credit, that's right, but there is a time limit on that as well, isn't there?
If they can't provide you a service in a reasonable period, they need to offer you a refund. You don't need to accept the credit, you can get a refund.
Okay.
That's important.
Okay.
Right. Good distinction there, Joe. Joe, what about accommodation? What can we expect from hotels, resorts or even Airbnbs?
So accommodation is a big grey area for everybody, and I guess it depends on the terms and conditions with which you've booked under, but it also depends on if you've paid the amount yet or not. So you really need to go through all your bookings, work out if you can be flexible and move that accommodation and if you're entitled to a refund. The good news is Airbnb is offering for anybody travelling almost anywhere in the world, if you booked before the 14th of March, for travel between the 14th of March and the 14th of April, they will refund the money. So you really need to go and contact your accommodation providers to see what they'll be able to do.
Right, Joe, the sad state of affairs is that a lot of businesses won't be able to survive. They may go bust in all of this. If we have purchased something through them, will we be able to get our money back?
Yeah, and this is the reality that we're facing, and this is why the government is really trying to provide support for businesses, particularly small businesses. If a business does close its doors over this period and they owe you something, it's very unlikely that you'll ever be able to redeem that product or service.
So based on that, Joe, if we had a gift card or someone gave us a gift voucher, would your advice be that we spend it now or hold on to it?
Great question. The number one advice for everybody right now is stay home. Don't be out at the shops for unnecessary trips. So when you think about your gift cards, are you able to redeem them online? Then yes, it's a good idea to support the business and spend that money and recover what you can just in case there's a problem with that business. But remember, the number one advice is don't be out and about unless you need to be out and about. We need people to stay at home. So if you can online shop, do that.
So many people have bought tickets to sporting events. They've bought tickets to concerts that have been cancelled. They will get a refund, right?
Look, it's really likely that they will be getting a refund. The situation with basically anything that you've purchased is if it's a government restriction that's stopping that business from being able to provide you that goods or service, it's not actually written in our Australian consumer law. So that's why there's a real grey area when it comes to businesses that are forced to be closed. They don't necessarily need to offer you anything, but everybody's operating under as much goodwill as they can now. So contact whoever you've got plans with and see what they can do for you. Be flexible and be polite.
Through all of this, there has been some good news for consumers. Joe, which companies are we seeing offer refunds and even a bit extra?
Yeah, there has been some really great initiatives by a lot of companies. Gyms, you'll see a lot of gyms now that are putting memberships on suspension, even if you've got contracts. There's up to 4 million Australians with gym memberships. You just covered that the supermarkets now are looking at setting up deliveries for vulnerable and and priority customers. So we're seeing that come through. We're also seeing in New South Wales and Victoria, parking fines are being scrapped for the green signs only. Red signs will still apply, but green signs in New South Wales and Victoria, they're getting waived, and we've got telcos offering extra data for people as well. There is some really great stuff coming out.
Oh yeah, that is goodwill. Okay, Jo, so much to go through there. Thanks very much today.
Still to come, boy. We'll
Thank
have
you.
all your thanks, Jo. All your 7 News headlines, including the latest development out of Wuhan, which is, of course, the epicentre of the coronavirus outbreak.
In 7's 4 p.m. news, the state's record spike in virus cases as Border Force points the finger over an infected cruise ship. How locals are adapting to tough new restrictions. Virgin Australia cuts 80% of its staff. And back by Easter, President Trump's controversial claim. I'll see you at 4 p.m.
50 months interest-free on now at Harvey Norman. Take this opportunity to update, upsize and upgrade your home and lifestyle. Harvey Norman has everything you need in technology, home appliances, entertainment, furniture, bedding and more. Shop store-wide with our easy payment option. 50 months interest-free. That's no deposit, no interest with 50 equal monthly payments until May 2024. What are you waiting for? Get in-store or get online for great deals store-wide plus 50 months interest-free. Limited time only, now at Harvey Norman.
Hi, I'm Jelena Dokic. I lost over 30 kilos on Jenny Craig's Rapid Results program. It's thanks to my consultant's advice and support and the delicious Jenny Craig food.
On Rapid Results, members lost an average of 5 kilos in the first 4 weeks.
I saw real results on the Rapid Results program, and you can too.
Join today with a free 8-week membership plus free food delivery. Cost of food additional.
Jenny Craig works for weight loss. Call Jenny Craig now. 13 19 92.
Okay, take care, mate. We'll talk soon, all right?
How's Nick?
Doctors told him there's not much else they can do for him other than to keep him comfortable. He said at least he got a full payout from his life insurance, so he was able to pay off the mortgage, which really helps out his family.
You know, we'd be in trouble if that were us.
Well, maybe we should do one simple thing and get real life insurance too.
Yeah, good idea.
Who could you rely on to protect your family if a terminal illness or sudden death turned your lives upside down? With real life insurance, your family would receive a cash payment up to $1 million if you passed away. Or if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, 100% of your benefit gets paid directly to you. To reduce stress at a difficult time, we make the claims process as simple as possible with our award-winning claims team located in Australia. Real life insurance, cover your family can count on from an award-winning insurer you can trust. For a quick quote, call 137 082 or search Real Life Insurance.
Nurofen Advanced liquid capsules have a thin seam, which enables fast release into the body. To sort pain out fast, use Nurofen Advanced liquid capsules. Unleash the speed of liquid.
There's a new way to curl hair that uses air, not extreme heat, to attract, wrap and set curls. Powered by the Dyson digital motor, with different heads for different styles. Dyson Airwrap.
More and more celebrities are working to cheer us up on social media, but there's one TV host who's not impressed.
Oh, well, let's get more on this and join entertainment editor Peter Ford. Good afternoon, Pete. Who is it?
Oh, it's Piers Morgan. He's always stirring the pot. He's always getting into a row with somebody. This time it's will.i.am. Now, you might recall that all-star version of Imagine that came out a couple of days ago. I mean, in all honesty, the sentiment was there. The mission was important. I don't know that in another reality we'd be judging it very favourably. But anyway, most of us thought, just let it go. You know, people mean well. But Piers Morgan and will.i.am chose to disagree publicly about it. This is what happened on Good Morning Britain.
I mean, a lot of artists have been doing interesting things online. There was if you don't, this is my interpretation of some of these things. Madonna gave us a bath scene we could probably have all done without. There was a group, a song, Imagine, which was probably one of the worst ensembles I've ever had to endure.
One thing we cannot do when people are trying to uplift everyone's spirit is be judging, right? So the folks that did the rendition of Imagine, they were trying to do the best thing they can to lift everybody's spirits up.
Well, good listen to. I mean, look, Will, I would take slight issue in that some of it smacks a little bit of just mindless virtue signalling.
Right now is not the time to be super critical and judgmental. We're supposed to entertain. We're supposed to uplift everyone's spirits.
Yeah, let it go, Piers. And that's what people like Sharon Stone are doing, as you'll see here. Not much makeup, no filter on the camera, just wanting to vent and to share. Sharon Stone.
1,095 masks just went to St. John's Hospital for all of the nurses and doctors so that they can continue to work. Whoever did that, it's such a big thing. Thank you very much. If you can send more masks to Cedars and to the other hospitals in the Valley, that would be really, really, really amazing. We thank you for your generosity and your kindness and for protecting the lives of the doctors and nurses at St. John's Hospital. Thank you very much.
Everyone means well, so we're going to be a mean-free zone for a while. Well, I am anyway, and that's rare.
We were always a mean-free zone.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yes.
Thanks,
Pete. Stick around, all your 7 News headlines are next.
Release the beast. Beautiful lion. Justin Bieber.
Rebel Wilson's Pooch Perfect. Thursday on 7.
Lunch money?
Hey, Sarah. I love what you're doing with your hair. She got highlights.
What makes Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies seriously good? Is it their multivitamin with 14 key vitamins, minerals and nutrients? Is it their vitamin C that supports immune system health? The 99% sugar-free calcium with vitamin D for strong bones and teeth and muscle health. Or maybe the delicious flavour. For your daily health boost, choose Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies. They're seriously good.
Have a peek at this. Powerball is jackpotted to $80 million. Better get a ticket.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
The things we do to keep up with our kids. Their lives are so busy. I need to stay fit. Actually, that's why we've been talking about getting life insurance. So the kids will be taken care of if something happens to us. Wait, can you help me find a policy?
To get the right life insurance policy, don't leave it to chance. Leave it to Choosy. Choosy's team of choosers make it easy for you to compare a range of policies. Call them now on 13 46 84. Simply tell them the payout you'd want for your family if something were to happen, and they'll get comparing. They'll help you be choosy about the cover amount. They'll help you be choosy about the benefits. And they'll help you be choosy about the costs. That way, you'll choose the life insurance that's right for you and your family. Do it now. Call 13 46 84 or go to choosy.com.au to compare, choose and apply. When it comes to insurance, don't leave it to chance. Leave it to Choosy.
You'll have to tell him sometime. How can I do it? No reception. Oh, it's okay. He's mine.
G'day, boy.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Mum. Tom and I just got engaged.
About bloody time. That's great news. Congratulations, mate.
You don't need Australia's best network until you do.
An update from the 7 Newsroom now. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has launched a COVID-19 Coordination Commission. He announced former mining CEO Neville Power will lead the commission at a media conference this afternoon. He said the commission's job will be to solve problems.
Whether it's repurposing manufacturing lines, whether it's retasking workforces, that one day were taking calls for travel companies, now taking calls at Centrelink, and ensuring that we're repurposing the workforce effort.
The Prime Minister also announced that non-urgent elective surgeries will be put on hold until further notice due to the coronavirus. It's not yet known when they will be able to resume. There's rising tension over the Sydney cruise ship scandal that saw coronavirus-infected passengers allowed to disembark from the Ruby Princess. Border Force Commissioner Michael Outram hit back at claims his officers were responsible, instead laying the blame at the feet of the New South Wales Department of Health.
and on the 18th of March again, the Department of Agriculture informed the agent for Ruby Princess that New South Wales Health had conducted a pre-risk assessment of the vessel and regarded it as low risk, that New South Wales Health were not boarding the vessel, they decided they didn't need to attend the vessel, and had New South Wales Health had also given clearance for all passengers to disembark the vessel.
So far, 133 passengers in several states have tested positive. China's 2-month lockdown of the city at the epicentre of the coronavirus pandemic is about to end. Wuhan was sealed off from the world in January in a bid to contain the virus. Its lockdown will cease on April 8th, marking a significant milestone in China's battle against the coronavirus. The move comes after no new cases of coronavirus were detected in the region for 5 consecutive days. Let's now get a check of the weather forecast. It's a good afternoon to 7 News meteorologist Tony Auden in our weather centre. How's it looking, Tony?
Well, good afternoon, Ryan. Skies are coming to life over eastern states today. A trough is triggering a band of showers and storms from central up to northern New South Wales at the moment. It's all moving east and dropping some pockets of welcome rain as they do. A severe storm warning is current for damaging winds, heavy rain and large hail. More storms are possible into southern inland parts of Queensland later this afternoon. Now onto the current conditions. 26 degrees, a few sunny breaks in Brisbane. In Sydney, it's 25. Showers, the odd storm could sweep through later today. And hot in Perth, 31 at the moment, but tracking for 35. Onto the forecast chart, that trough will move east tomorrow, triggering more wet weather into northern parts of New South Wales. OK, onto the forecast. A top of 28 degrees in Brisbane. Showers peaking in Sydney tonight. A couple of lingering drops tomorrow. And Perth continues to heat up to 37 degrees. That's the latest weather, guys. More at 4 and 6.
All right, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 2. Have a wonderful afternoon.
See ya.
Good afternoon. We interrupt regular programming to take you straight to a news conference with the New South Wales Emergency Services Minister and Police Commissioner. Let's go there now.
Following on from the Prime Minister's very direct comments last night, the New South Wales Government, the Parliament, the Berejiklian Cabinet and the New South Wales Police want to make it very clear that we are taking all precautions offered to us extremely seriously. We need to kill this virus before it kills us. For that reason, the New South Wales Parliament last night introduced swift and certain penalties for people that don't obey the law. Not only will you be liable for a on-the-spot fine if you are found guilty of any offences relating to social distancing, you could also find yourself in jail for up to 6 months. We are going to be increasing the police presence in the community, and that will include an increase in police patrols. That will also include the increase in penalties that I've just mentioned. And of course, it will also mean random checks for people whose intelligence we have received may be in breach of the quarantine laws or indeed any other laws that we've brought about in the last couple of days. This government doesn't like introducing this sort of legislation. In fact, we've made sure there will be, in many respects, a sunset clause on it. But it is quite clear from the behaviour of the beachgoers on Saturday in Bondi, it's been quite clear to me over the last couple of days with photos and media reports of people that have just been blatantly ignoring the law, that we have to keep going one step further. We don't rule out any further developments when it comes to the enforcement of these regulations. Everything is on the table. But overnight, when we saw nearly 25% more victims of this virus, it's quite clear that we have to act in the best interests of the majority of people who want to do the right thing. I pause to offer my condolences to the families of those that have fallen, had died over the course of this coronavirus. We've got to make sure we minimise the risk and keep that figure to a bare minimum. I'd now like to hand over to Commissioner Fuller, who will make some remarks in relation to the police response.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks, Minister, and thank you to the government for taking so seriously the concerns of not just police but the community. And there seems to be absolute frustration out there about the small percentage of people that are flouting the rules that have been put in place, the advice and guidance from the Health Minister, from the Premier and from the Prime Minister. I think the weekend was an example of that across Bondi Beach. We welcome the strengthening of our powers. And what does that look like? Well, it's a $1,000 on-the-spot fine for those who break the law, and it's a $5,000 fine for corporations. So if you're flying back in to New South Wales and you don't isolate for 14 days and we find you outside of the house, you'll get a $1,000 on-the-spot fine. Police can still use their discretion to charge you and put you before the court, face 6 months jail. If you have the coronavirus and you have been told to isolate and you flout that and you go into the community, putting the community at risk, you can face a $1,000 on-the-spot fine. And again, if there is aggravation in a sense, that police can still put you before the court and you can still face 6 months in jail. There are other restrictions that have been put in place around public places, around spatial distancing between people, around training in open door venues. And whilst I know this will challenge individuals who own businesses, at the same time, the police needed to stand up and say, community have to take this seriously or more people will be affected and this virus could run on for many, many more months. So for mine, the health messaging has been clear around wash your hands, around social distancing, around protecting particularly the vulnerable, the elderly and those who are not well. But if you look at Bondi Beach, with the tens of thousands of people there on the weekend, clearly community's not getting the message. Police want to work with the community in relation to this, but the increase in complaints to Crime Stoppers, the information that I'm getting from the community, the dissatisfaction with the way some individuals are treating our health meant that I needed to ask for these powers. On-the-spot fines, $1,000 for individuals, $5,000 for corporation. That kicks off at midnight tonight. Our Public Order and Riot Squad will be looking at those individuals who are currently infected. They have the appropriate masks and public protection equipment, personal protection equipment to do that job. But there are over 17,000 police out there strong, they're fit, they're still enforcing the law, and they will be out as of midnight tonight making sure individuals follow the advice and guidance from the Health Minister, from the Premier and the Prime Minister. Thank you. Take questions.
Commissioner, how do the patrols work in practice? If you have a patrol car driving along the street and they see a dozen teenagers walking along that street, do you stop and give them a $1,000 fine each?
We'll leave it there. The Police Commissioner Mick Fuller and our Emergency Services Minister David Elliott, who put it very bluntly, we must kill this virus before it kills us. The police have been given new powers, $1,000 on-the-spot fines to make sure people obey by these new health directives. We'll have more details on this in 7 News at 4 p.m. and of course tonight at 6 o'clock. For now, it's time for the Chase UK.